All right, dealing with your buyer, comes a time when they're going to go seek this loan out. And under federal law now, they have to seek out, they have to be given the balance sheet of their purchase price, and it's within 72 hours. Anybody that makes application for a loan has to get this thing called a GFE, or the good faith estimate, which deals with the closing costs. First of all, we all understand that when you buy a house for $100,000, it's going to cost you more than $100,000. It's going to cost you some fees, and those fees will be guessed at or estimated on by the broker, i.e. mortgage broker, not us, on this form called the good faith estimate. This good faith estimate will total up all of the things like your attendant or your transfer fee, your recording fee, the loan origination fees, and it's broken down into 3 sections. The first section are things that can't change, or they're called zero tolerance numbers, like his origination fee. What he's going to charge you when you sit down and he tells you something and says, I'm going to charge you a point. And you guys all remember what a point is, right? It's a percent of the loan. That is his loan origination fee. Because he controls the fee, it can't change at all. So when you go to closing, he's going to do what they call lock you in. All right? And in that time frame, if he tells you it's going to be 2 points, come hell or high water, it'll be 2 points, because he cannot control that, or he cannot change it. Now, here's my problem. If somebody is telling you what they're going to charge you before they actually do all your work up, what do you think that estimate's going to be? I mean, if you took your car in and they go, okay, yeah, I want you to fix my brake, and you have to estimate it now, and you can't change the estimate, what do you think his estimate's going to be? It's going to be high because he didn't want to screw himself. So I actually have a problem with this whole concept now about not changing it. Now, I understand the premise was designed because in years past, what would happen is they would tell their buyer, oh, it's a point. They would get to closing and go, oh, ta-da, it's now 8 points. What are you going to do, not close? And the person would say, well, I'm so interested in moving, yeah, I'll go ahead and sign it. So in order to keep from doing that, that's where this came up from. Zero tolerance. Whatever they tell them, that's what it's going to be. The second group of numbers is what they call the 10% tolerance numbers. These are things that they don't control, but yet they recommend. That's not going to work. Most notably, like title insurance. You know, he doesn't control the title insurance pricing, but he wants you to go to a certain title company. He may recommend one or two because he knows, hey, the software I deal, I can transfer money right over there, and their software works with my software, and it's not a problem. So he says, I want you to go to Security Title. And then he's going to give you a price for your portion of the title work. That number can vary 10%. Right, Gwen? So it can go to 450, 550, somewhere in there. Mainly because he doesn't really control it. Then the third set of numbers, and this is the one that always just blows my mind because it would seem like this would blow this whole concept out of the water, are these things that are called unlimited tolerance. These are numbers that he has no control of, no idea, but yet still going to make a swag at it. You guys know what a swag is, right? Scientific wild-ass guess. All right. Things like homeowners insurance. He's going to tell you that on a $100,000 house, the homeowner's insurance is going to be $650. All right. It could be $900. But because the fact that it's under the unlimited tolerance allows him to just be wherever he wants to be. But it seems to me that's the one that could blow it out of the water.
So
yes?
you've got to get this to 72 hours after you have an agreed upon.
After he makes application.
After he makes application.
All right, so he could make application before he even meets with us.
Okay.
All right, so this rule has really nothing to do with the real estate portion of it.
Well, okay. The title company numbers are actually easy to find out once you know what title company.
Yeah, because they got the premium rate card.
Exactly.
I always call the insurance.
Yeah.
When I like a house, if I'm going to buy it, I'll call my guy. I'm like, hey David, I'm looking at this house. Here's the address. What would our insurance be? Because if it's like $2,000 a year, I'm like, whoa, that greatly affects your mortgage.
I agree with you 100%. In the real world, he's going to be pretty close in that number because he wants the business. Theoretically, he could say it's going to be $4 million for your insurance policy, and he still is within the legal rules. But that means the number he quotes you is going to be $4,500,000. Would you use him? No. So he wants his best estimate because he truly wants you to use the deal or use him. The problem I have is he could go the other way. He could say it's going to be $250 and make his GFE for you the buyer. Let's just say this. Say the 2 points turns out to be $1,600 and he estimates $200 for home insurance. So you've got $1,600 plus the $500 for the title plus the $200 makes it $2,300. And you look at that and go, yes, that's the lowest GFE, I'm going to use him. When you get to closing, your homeowner's insurance is actually $800. So he wasn't even really close, but legally he's still correct. Because the number that blew it out of the water was the number that allows unlimited tolerance. Well, in this one, it's not. It's in his best interest to aim low.
Well, like my guy goes high, because then when I end up getting my quote and it's lower, he always says it'll probably be lower than that.
If you were buying a house and you called one guy and he gave you a high price, you called the other guy and gave you a low price for the same loan, you'd go with the lower guy.
Right.
So he wants to be low so that you can
Yeah.
for his business.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
If someone else gave you the same quote, and let's say another guy gave you the same quote, but he was more realistic with his insurance and told you it's going to be 27, and you see two numbers, 2,300 and 27, I'll take the 2,300. You get to closing, and all of a sudden you're spending 3,000. You go, what the fuck, man?
right.
I should beep that out probably on recording. You're going to go, what the hell? I have to go back and catch that one. Because he underestimated, so he got your business instead of the 27. Now, the free market person in me is going to say eventually that guy's going to run into trouble because a lot of people are going to say, I used Todd Blank Smith, whatever, and he wasn't even close, and he cheated me, and I feel like I was cheated, and his name will get around. So theoretically, the free market system will eventually allow that guy to actually give the right numbers so that he maintains some business. All right? Dave, we good?
Yep.
Now remember, this is then one other thing that's not really on there because it's in the process of changing. The GFE is what gives us the $5,000 in this hypothetical closing. $100,000 to buy the house, $5,000 in closing costs, and all those closing costs were told to me on my GFE. All right? Now there's one other thing that we're going to talk about, and it's in the process of getting ready to change, is that uniform settlement statement, which we call a HUD-1 erroneously sometimes. That is the scorecard of that $5,000. You know, the title work goes here, and the realtor commission goes in, what is that, line 700, and title work goes in the line 900, and you total 1,400 up, and you move it over there. So the GFE is where the $5,000 number comes from. The settlement statement is the scorecard. That settlement statement has to be given to the buyer at least 24 hours prior to closing, because it tells the buyer how much he has to bring to closing. All right? Now, with the new rules going on, if your buyer has to bring, is it 10 grand? If your buyer has to bring more than 10 grand, they have to wire it in. Now, have you guys heard of all the scams that are going on with the wiring? Yeah. This is where you have to be very diligent. A lot of people that are getting agent emails, sending false emails to the buyer, and they've changed the wire number to wire the money into some off-account shore. There's one here in Indianapolis to the tune of 6 digits. And the problem is, that's not insured. I mean, this guy lost like $140,000. He wired it voluntarily to some account. So what they're activating now, or what they're advocating rather, is for you to verbally, when you get the email from the title company saying, hey, your closing's tomorrow, here's the wiring instructions for your client, let us know when you wire the money in. You probably, if you listen to me, look up here, let me know you're, call the title company and confirm the numbers that you just got. Because it's one of those things where it may never happen, but the one time it does, you're going to get, stomach's going to get sick when you just told your client, here's the wiring instructions, and they just wired $20,000 down payment to some, Kenya somewhere. And it's happening, all right? And it goes the other way. You get the instructions, you should call the title company and verify the number, forward the email to your client, and then call your client. I just sent you the titling instructions. Please, here's 2 things. Did you get this number? Yes, 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 yes. Here's the next thing. You are never going to get a change of number from me. That's how they do it.
Print it off, write that number down, whatever.
Yeah. How they do it is on the first email that goes to the client, they intercept that. They send a fake email to the client saying, I'm sorry, we gave you the wrong number. Here's the new number. And the client wires to the new number. That's how they get the to and from person. So you should literally tell your client, I am not sending you any more stuff. If I do, contact me. All right? There's a really good line in, I attribute everything to the movies X-Men. Remember in the movie X-Men, Mystique could shift changes to looking like different people? No? You didn't see it? No. Well, the guy says, shoot the next person through this doorway, even if it's me, because he knew that she was going to change to look like him. So he said, the next person who walks through this door, shoot him, even if it's me, because it's probably going to be her in some other form. So that's what you tell your client. Here's the number. Did you get the number? Read it to me. Yeah. I am sending you no more nothing. If you get another number from me, it's false. It's happened. Happens all the time. Here's the other problem. We had this happen one time. Have you had this happen yet, Gwen? It's $10,000 cumulative. All right, so what that means is we had one where they brought, where they had given, how did it work? The seller or the buyer gave us the earnest money. It was like $2,000, and they brought their 20%, so it was like $24,000 that they were wiring in. But because ours was part of that money and was over the 10 grand, we had to wire our money in too. Because it's not 2,000. Our 2,000 was part of their 26,000, so we had to wire the money in. It's 10 grand cumulative total. There were too many fake certified checks. Yeah, the thing that they have created to save us actually is causing more trouble. All those people that were bringing false certified checks or they now said, well, we want the money in advance and they wire it, has now caused all this fake wiring issue. I think they should just go back to cash.
Yeah.
Bring me cash.
Bring you
We had a guy that did that, $42,000. And the guy's sitting at the table closing and literally raises his hands like he's being arrested. I can't touch that. Take it away. And the guy's like, but it's cash. He's like, we can't take cash. He's like, everybody takes cash. No, can't take cash. So I said, yeah, you can't do it. And he was from the Hispanic culture where cash is big. I'm like, you can't. I said, we need to take you to a bank and get a certified funds. And he had it in like a marsh bag. I said, take that back out to the car. And by the way, which car are you driving?
And that's the ones we let in the car.
That's what my husband likes to do at the car dealership, bring in like stacks of money. And the last time the guy was like, he made him like sign papers that said like, this isn't drug money, pretty much.
Yeah.
We can certify it came from our bank account.
So if you were a drug dealer bringing in drug money, wouldn't you lie on a piece of paper saying it wasn't drug money? I never understood that. Yeah, sign this saying that it wasn't, that you won't do anything bad. Well, if I would do something bad, wouldn't I lie about it too? So that's the good faith estimate and how it works.